Greetings, everyone. Welcome back after technical... Yes, technical difficulties. No, technical difficulties. I are good at words.
Take two. Hoo-ha.
I do apologize ahead of time a little bit if Kaboom Dragoon's microphone is it's a little iffy here and there.
Yeah, like everything else in this place, it's falling apart.
Well, it's still holding up fairly decently so far. It just has a couple hiccups.
Fingers crossed.
I suggest you make a saw trap and then threaten it that if it doesn't change its tune and work properly, you'll put it in the trap.
Hello, microphone. I'd like to play a game.
That
was terrible, but I don't apologize.
It was terrible, but great. But it's kind of a shame that movie series has gone places where it shouldn't have. In fact, it should never have made a sequel.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It should have just stayed the thriller it was to begin with. Yeah,
well, I've always said that. It was a great psychological thriller that kind of went in completely the wrong direction.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, the thing that mainly just ruined for the sequels is you know who the killer is now. And the mystery's kind of gone there.
I don't know, they did try mixing it up and keeping it fresh every so often, but...
But the problem was they went for all of the gore and all of the traps all of the time and not enough thriller or mystery.
Yeah. It worked better as a psychological thriller than I am a bad man with too much time on my hands.
Oh yeah.
You know, if they'd almost done it sort of, like some of the Hellraiser straight-to-video movies, they weren't actually that bad, and it was mostly someone going around doing bad things, and then Pinhead shows up at the end to deliver a summation, and then the guy's dragged to hell.
Yeah.
If they'd done that sort of thing, that would have been a lot better.
Maybe. I never really saw much of... I think I watched one or two movies of Hellraiser, but I watched them when I was so young that I didn't even know what I was watching. I was just like, what the hell is this? And then you keep watching because it's a train wreck.
Yeah. First one and the second one are the ones that everyone should absolutely watch. And then after that, some of the direct-to-video ones, they're actually really good, but because they're direct-to-video, everyone thinks, well, there's a reason for it.
There's a reason why they're direct-to-video. They must be bad. It's not true for
everything. The last one was absolutely terrible.
I remember one that I watched, and they're in space or something like that. They're in a space station.
That's the fourth one.
Yeah, that
one was kind of an anthology. It was,
it was really confusing, and it just felt like this horrible train wreck while I was watching.
That one was the guy that made the puzzle box, Le Marchand. It was his family throughout the ages, so starting off with the origin in the puzzle box, leading up to the near future, where they kill Pinhead with a space station.
Yeah, I was not sure what I was watching at the time, but when you get the internet, you see all kinds of strange memes and stuff, and if you stay there long enough, you'll know the famous Pinhead and Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and all those sorts of popular, famous folks. Just because you've been on the internet. Also, look, there's the second Black Diablos in the background. Lucky me!
I'm sure this won't factor into the rest of the video in any way, shape, or form.
Actually, it won't. I think he left right now because he didn't see anything. Yeah, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I hate Diablos and I hate Monopolos. They're both boring and they literally have the same attack patterns. It's just, I guess Capcom wanted to do it. So they could use the same monsters and make different armors. I don't know. That being said, I do like not Black Diablos in general, but just the Diablos armor in general, because it's the only thing early on that'll give you Dragon Wind Rest. But
I must admit, I do kind of like what they did with the palette swaps in that they look different, but there's extra bits and pieces added on.
Oh,
Or is that one of the later ones I'm thinking of?
well, I would say that when they made Monobolus and Diablos, they did kind of model them a little bit different, but I think they're supposed to be the same breed of creature, only male and female. Like, I think it's the Diablos that's the female and the Monobolus that's the male, because the male has one horn. I don't know. People get really anal about it. People keep complaining to me whenever I call Diablos a him. Or Monobolus a her. Or, you know.
Excuse me, I think you'll find that they are completely irrelevant genders. Struck my neck here.
It's never really explained, but this is just something people decided on, I guess. Like, I'm not entirely sure what it's all about, but so been reading any interesting books lately?
Super Gods?
Yeah, because I know you've been reading interesting books. So we talked about this in the previous recording that broke.
Yeah. Super Gods by Grant Morrison. It's vaguely scholarly look at the impact of superheroes in modern popular culture.
Yeah.
Has the idea of them as being sort of avatars for hope in a world which, frankly, these days doesn't have much. Seems how everything's royally fucked at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a lot more interesting than it sounds, especially if you're not the sort of person that reads comics. And it fills in all the important gaps that you might have. There's also part autobiography as well, because it shows how, it shows how the writer, his background, how he got into comics, and originally he lived not too far away from a nuclear base.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, this was probably back in the day where they didn't know what gamma radiation was, and then they were like, oh yeah, superheroes are created through great gamma radiation. That is the exact background story for popular figures like the Hulk or the Fantastic Four. Gamma radiation.
Yeah. Back in the 60s when nuclear radiation was your friend.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And didn't give you horrible tumors everywhere.
I also remember gasoline was your friend at some point, that you were supposed to use gasoline to clean everything, which caused horrible fires.
Yeah, funny that. But he lived not too far from a nuclear base in Scotland when he was a kid. And his parents were heavy anti-war, anti-nuclear protesters. So, as a child, the way he puts it is, he was constantly living in fear of the bomb.
Ooh.
Then he started reading comics and found that, these were superheroes, these were people they were stronger than the bomb. Superhero, like Superman,
Yes.
hell, in one of the movies he throws a load of nuclear weapons into the sun.
Yeah, basically the Man of Steel who is indestructible even by nuclear weapons and so on and so forth, and he fights for all good and justice and stuff. And
yeah,
I can.
So to him, these ideas were more powerful than the bomb, which made nuclear weapons seem, well, less scary.
Yeah.
And he's going through, touching on that idea right the way through. It's really fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I can see it's fascinating.
Quite a lot of it does sort of, you're reading it and at first you're dismissing it as silly, but then you find that quite a lot of it actually rings quite true.
Well, it is also like, you know how in mythologies, like the Greek mythologies and whatnot, like you have the good gods and you have the bad gods, and some of them, they're always battling each other, but you always have these tales and legends about them doing stuff that inspire people and make them less afraid, etc. Or
yeah, that's another one of his ideas. The idea that if we actually believe these stories, then we can hope to make a better change ourselves.
Well, maybe not so much with the Greek gods. The Greek gods were dicks.
Yeah. The Greek gods just enjoyed drinking and fornicating left and right.
Yeah, and screwing over humans, if I recall, by going, you didn't do what I told you to do. I'm going to curse you forever into a horrible monster, or kill you, or torture you, or send you to Hades.
What's that? You didn't read the exact letter of the contract? Ho ho ho! Fun, fun, fun!
Or in some cases, wait, you did something better than me? I am a god. Nobody can do anything better than me. I will punish you for this. Where they basically, in some cases, they'll give them a competition or a contest. And if they lose, well, they're screwed because they'll get this horrible punishment. If they win, supposedly they win a prize. And of course they win in some of the cases. And the gods get so angry and jealous they decide to just screw them over anyways. Because they're gods. They can do whatever the hell they want. They have so much power that they don't even need to keep their word.
Ironically, it's the tricksters like Loki and Coyote who are usually the more straight up ones.
Oh yeah.
It's the honest guys like Zeus you have to watch out for.
Yeah. Or Hera. Yeah, Hera can be downright a wrathful bitch.
Yeah, which is ironic because in quite a few stories she's portrayed as a goddess of the home and hearth.
Yeah. And and
How's that for ironic?
yeah,
Goddess of family, and she hates everyone.
oh yeah.
Whoop, doodle.
The Greek gods, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them
What
a big
about
hand.
Dick? Yeah, as I was saying, he basically shows how superheroes are supposed to represent the best of humanity,
Yeah.
and how as I said, how we can look at these things and try and aspire to them, make
Yeah,
changes for ourselves for the better.
Yeah, I can see that. No, it does seem like a good read, though.
I mean, the idea of it sounds incredibly twee and stupid, but when you're actually reading it, it does make a hell of a lot of sense. It's probably, I think in anyone else's hands, it would just be an atrocious read, but Grant Morrison is one of my favourite writers, so...
Yeah. Well,
If
there's probably also something to him, like, that he knows how to write, unlike some people like Frank Miller. I wonder how it'd turn out if Frank Miller...
A to Z guide of picking up whores. How whores can enrich your life. Whores. Whores.
Do you think with enough horse we can also add some horses in there, just because it almost sounds like the same word? Horses?
So get some horse prostitutes.
Yeah.
Horse.
Or prostitutes riding horses. There we go.
And as they come out, we can play them a prostitute in our harmonicas.
That was horrible. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
So was that. That was horrible.
Oh, that's terrible. I think I'll just use terrible instead.
Probably for the best.
That way you can't turn my own words against me.
Oh, give me time.
Oh. With friends like you, who needs enemies?
Friends like me, who needs the death penalty?
Oh, yeah, death penalty might be fun.
Depends which side of the electric chair you're on, and who's in it.
That's a good question. Right now, I would really like this Diablos to be the death chair, or the electric chair. Though I don't... Yeah, well, actually, that would make sense, because he's weak to lightning. So yeah, he'd hopefully die within a few hours. Got one.
Yay.
Speaking of Diablos dying...
Cough, cough.
Actually, I didn't... I thought it'd be a few more minutes before I killed him. I did not intend to end like that, where I mentioned that, and then he dies shortly after. But
Oh, that's just awkward.
yeah, it is. It is. Now I have to go to his family and give him the bad news. Then when they get enraged and start charging towards me, then I have to kill them too.
Yeah. Then you have to set a baby on fire, steal a policeman's hat, and defecate in it.
And then I have to go to the landlord and tell them, hey, I killed everyone. You probably won't be getting their rent anytime soon if you're wondering.
And that's just awkward.
Oh yeah, definitely. Usually they call the police on you. But I think in this case, I don't think they'll call the police on you. Diablos do have a bad tendency to run into walls and destroy them, put holes in them all over the place.
And then you get a knock on the door from the Dino Police, and they're not too pleased.
I'll just tell them the Diablos were jerks anyways. The world is better off without them.
My neighbor. There's further investigation.
Well, maybe I'll just fake their deaths. Make it look like they committed a ritual suicide. Yeah, that always ends well in TV shows.
Better yet, double fake suicide.
Oh, that'll
set it up so that they fake their suicide, and then you stab them so they're actually dead.
Yeah.
Stab their faces off. Do it.
That could work. Or triple fake it, just to make sure that they don't catch me. I mean, it's not like they have internet and watch this video. I mean, they're dinosaurs. Which reminds me of that. Which reminds me of that show a long time ago, Dinosaurs. Well, I like that. I miss that show. I watched that.
It was okay, except that the final episode was bleak as all hell.
I never saw the final episode. They didn't show the final season over here or something like that.
Final episode ends with Earl, the dad, accidentally causing the Ice Age.
Oh wow! How the hell did he do that?
There was something to do with the company that he works for.
Yeah, the deforestation company.
Yeah, they were trying to make forks or something, and he was tinkering about with the machinery. Accidentally destroys the world.
Oh wow!
The final shot is of them watching the TV as the snow's falling. They're saying, the bad weather is expected to continue for quite some time, but, well, we hope we'll pull through. This is news reporter Dinosaur signing off. And then it just ends!
Wow, that's kind of dark.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes or so have no jokes in it. Have no jokes in it whatsoever.
Oh, I guess they wanted to go off on a serious tone.
Yeah, it's completely out of left field because the rest of the series is just so stupid and goofy.
Yeah, the rest of the series is not the mama.
Yeah. It's dumb. And then all of a sudden, bam.
Yeah.
Pulling off that sort of thing.
Oh,
just bizarre.
I should probably find some way to watch those because there's a lot of it I haven't watched. Nostalgia trip from when I was a kid. I would like to watch that, the entire series.
All up on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I could probably do that. Well, if they haven't already been torn down by the time I get to them.
I'd be surprised because someone's been uploading a lot of Disney movies on there. And you'd think that they would be down in seconds, but there you go.
Well, that is true. But they do take stuff like Mystery Science Theater, just tear them down instantly.
Mystery Science Theater is a weird one because the creators themselves, because it was so hard to find the show anywhere, they were perfectly cool with people trading tapes and all that. They actually coined the phrase "keep circulating the tapes," which is generally used to refer to any kind of show which had virtually no presence and never got a DVD or VHS release.
Well, they did get a DVD release.
Yeah, most of the episodes have been released. First 3 seasons or so, I don't think they've ever seen it. But then again, they were absolutely terrible, so it's not like missing out much.
Yeah, no, I actually do like the early seasons, to be honest. When they were doing the black and white movies and some of the... What do you call them? The
B-movies?
No. The PSAs, yes. The PSAs were great. Because they're absolutely retarded, every single one of them.
I think it's the one that shows with Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Yes, Manos, the Hands of Fate was a pretty good one. But that was
Manos.
black. That was actually a few seasons later.
But no, I'm talking about the very, very, very first series, which it was less riffing on a movie, more a bunch of people making bad jokes about what's happening on screen.
Yeah.
And it's really awkward. And even the creators don't watch it. It's terrible.
Honestly, I have been purchasing of their riff tracks. They're pretty amusing.
The ones for Saw and Paranormal Activity I can watch again and again.
Huh. Well, unfortunately, I don't have Paranormal Activity. I might have to check out the one for Saw if it's the first movie.
Yeah.
Okay, because the other movies are just an abortion to me, and I will never.
I don't think they've gotten around to getting any of the other movies done in the series, but the first one is absolutely hilarious.
I'll actually have to try to purchase that and watch it, just because, it supports their livelihood, which is a cool thing, and it's not expensive.
Yeah, it's what, $3 for a riff?
And some of them are even free.
Yeah, it's
when it comes to the public domain rules.
Yeah, either way, it's pocket change.
Yeah.
So, I've got quite a few of them here, actually.
And sometimes I've seen them on sale for like 99 cents.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculously cheap. You could buy these and have hours of entertainment. You can't say the same for so many other things that you purchase, like Mass Effect 3.
Twitch.
I bet a million people are just angry at us for even mentioning. Because I actually have a friend, a Danish friend, that I did commentary with recently for one of my training missions. He actually liked Mass Effect 3. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Probably didn't play the last hour. Stopped before the end. That's the only way I can see that you could play it and not be incredibly angry at the game. Seriously, ask him if he's finished it.
Here's actually a reason why he isn't as upset as he should be. He never watched. He never downloaded the director's cut and watched them. And the director's cut just ruined things even more. Like rubbing salt into your wound.
Yeah, I finished the game back when it first came out, uninstalled it from a PC, and I haven't bothered touching it since.
No, I bought it several months later, after it came out. I decided, you know what? I need to see why people were so upset. At this point, it's just, I'm fascinated. I need to see the train wreck myself, experience it. Is it really as bad as everybody says?
And lo, it was.
And so I went to a game store, purchased a used copy. Then a couple more months went by, I think. I don't know how much time goes by. I don't keep a track of time. But then I think I played it last month or something like that. And I'm not happy.
I've got a friend who still plays the multiplayer on 360 all the time, and he keeps trying to get me to go out and buy it for that.
But that's not what the first Mass Effect sold me on. A really good RPG. The second Mass Effect sold me on. I was hoping for a really good RPG, but instead I got an okay third-person cover-based shooter.
Enjoy your cover-based dating games.
And then I got the third game where they just went, hey, we have the first game and the second game, let's use everything from those games and streamline it even more. Because there was a few places where I did see unique art assets, but otherwise it's pretty much just all the art assets from the first two games.
Didn't one of the primary writers for the game leave between Mass Effect 2 and 3?
I don't know. But here's...
Sure, that was a thing.
Here's their problem, what they should have done. And I stand by this argument. When you're writing a trilogy, you write the ending and the starting of a story. And then you think about, okay, how do we get from here to there? And then you fill in all the gaps. And the problem was that they didn't know what they were going to do for the ending, so they just kind of gave up and said, derp, there's the ending, we ran out of time and money.
And we just ran out of time in the video.
Yeah. How fitting. We'll see you next time.
Bye.